What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 468th edition of TSR Live, your daily dose of red pill truth, wisdom, and awareness. It is Monday, June 17th, 2019. Good to have you guys in here on a Monday. Let's go ahead and get right to it. I usually pick on Amy Horton. I call her Amy the Cautionary Tale Horton because she is the cautionary tale in terms of the life you live after you sleep around in your party years, your 20s. Amy Horton has written a series of articles that display sort of a regret and letting the world know that, hey, maybe sleeping around in my 20s wasn't such a good idea, and she is reaping the consequences. But it appears that just about every author for Bold, and that's B-O-L-D-E, has a high body count, and this one's name is Asiana Teppenhart, which is obviously a pen name, just like Amy Horton, Rolla Tomasi, Donovan Sharpe, so I get that. Now, the website Bold has a few interesting categories. Single as fuck, tough love, what's the deal when you just can't anymore, and LGBT. So you already know what kind of website this is. Now, these websites are highly, highly influential, which is why girls are so lost these days. So it is my job to break this stuff down and hope that females see these kinds of videos and maybe give some credence to it. I'm not going to hold my breath because, listen, girls are never going to admit that the sleeping around lifestyle, the carousel writing, is wrong, as you'll see here when I point this stuff out. Anyway, it appears that Miss Teppenhart is either younger than Amy Horton or just more stubborn than Amy because she doesn't appear to be regretful of sleeping with a lot of guys, at least not yet. She actually seems proud of it, like as all girls are in their 20s. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to do this in the typical Donovan Sharpe manner. I'm going to read the article and then I will give my take on it. So it's 15 lessons I've learned from sleeping around. So right off the bat, you know what kind of woman she is by Asiana Teppenhart. In the beginning, she says, quote, "I'll admit it. I've had sex with a lot of different partners. I used to be ashamed of it, but now I own it. But who gives a crap? Sleeping around has not only given me plenty of orgasms, but it has also taught me a whole lot about guys and sex that I wouldn't have known otherwise." So it's almost like, you know, it's funny, as though learning about guys and sex was a surprising side effect to having slept around, right? Oh, sleeping around taught me so much about guys and sex I wouldn't have known otherwise. This is bad writing. Like, this is, again, this is all clickbait, right? This is clickbait. I mean, girls are going to read this and they're going to actually give credence to this just because, you know, Bold is a big website. But let's break this down here. So I used to be ashamed of it. She used to be ashamed of sleeping around. Ms. Teppenhart, that is your feminine instinct telling you that sleeping around was wrong. But you hit your point of emotional sexual demarcation and you realize two things. Number one, you can't pair bond. And number two, you've done shameless things with shameless guys for so long that having a high notch count isn't really as bad as the unspeakable things you've done with men during sex over the years. She says, "I've had plenty of orgasms." Guys, girls love bragging about this. See, here's the thing, guys. Sleeping with a lot of men sleeping with a lot of women, rather, makes guys attractive. And women use what I call inverse projection in this regard. They say, okay, well, sleeping with a lot of women makes me more sexually attractive to men, so sleeping with a lot of guys must make me more sexually attractive, right? No, that's not the way it works. Sexual attraction is not symmetrical. The things that make us attractive to women are not the things that make women attractive to us. It's just that simple. Then she says, well, I've had a lot of orgasms. Guys, that's not attractive. Any girl who says, well, I've had a lot of orgasms in my life. Guys, listen, man, dudes don't commit to girls like Asiana Teppenhart. Now, she's going to find out the hard way in a few years and be writing like Amy Horton. But let's go ahead and get started here. She's got 15 bullet points, and we're going to break them all down. Number one, guys are way more insecure than they want to admit. She says, quote, "I've had so many guys throw fits when they found out my number. It's laughable. Too many guys legitimately can't handle the idea that a girl's been with a lot more people than they have. Obviously, a bad reaction to this is a deal breaker for me because I don't have time to deal with guys who are so insecure about that crap. Oh my God. Sweetheart, that's not insecurity. That's dudes being grossed out that you are closer to a petri dish anatomically than an actual female at this point. Every guy knows that most girls have slept with more men than he has slept with women. This is just her interpreting things wrong. He had a bad reaction because he's insecure. No, he had a bad reaction because her body's been penetrated by men into the 500s, and it's disgusting. Plus, she's probably on birth control, right? She's on birth control, meaning she can't get pregnant. Think about that for a second. How many dudes have busted in her? That is absolutely disgusting. I'll bet she has bacterial vaginosis, which, by the way, happens when women have too much unprotected sex with too many different men. That's what happens. I'm not going to describe it anymore. The side effects, Google it, you'll see. Then she says that's a deal breaker for me. Oh, so it's a deal breaker if a guy freaks out about my number. No, sweetheart. That is a deal breaker for the men. That's a deal breaker for him, Miss Stephen Hart. She is literally saying, this is so funny. She knows that this is the reason why she's getting dumped. Here's what she's saying. You can't fire me because I quit. She may not be ashamed of her body count number yet, but she is starting to become ashamed that men are starting to reject her for even a friends with benefit arrangement. Never mind a relationship. Dudes are probably telling her, wow, all right, well, I guess we're not having sex anymore. Let's move to number 2. Get past all these ads here. Man, this thing is ad. Good God almighty. She says, sex is sex, not love. She says, quote, this is so hard for some people to understand, especially when hormones mess with your mind. There is a huge difference between love and sex. You can have sex with just about anyone and you might barely feel any closeness to them. Love isn't easy, nor is it anywhere as easy to cultivate as sex. This is a woman, gentlemen, who has had the emotion banged out of her by all the men she slept with. She doesn't realize this is a bad thing, at least not yet, but she will. Women who don't sleep around those women are capable of emotionally pair bonding with a man, right? When they reach their sexual point of emotional demarcation, sex goes from something you do with someone you love to just something you do. This is how men view sex, by the way, but it's healthy of us to be this way because we love differently than women. But women who have their eyes open when sex and love become separated in their minds, it's like when Adam and Eve ate from the tree of life and suddenly they realized they were naked. They were no longer innocent and naive, and neither is Asiana. Number 3. Even the best sex isn't worth losing love. Let me pause this freaking ad here. Even the best sex isn't worth losing love. Great sex can be earth-shattering, she says, but love is the stuff that moves universes. When in doubt, choose a happy relationship over good sex. Guys, she as good as told you that she cheated on every boyfriend because of good sex. She had great sex with another guy, and she decided to leave her boyfriend, her good relationship, for good sex. But now she's at the beginning stages of realizing that maybe she shouldn't have done this. She's very close to regret, guys. She's a lot closer than she thinks. And by the way, no woman will ever choose a good relationship over good sex, right? No woman will ever choose a happy relationship over sex if they're under the age of 30. Let me qualify that. Women never choose a relationship over sex. They do this out of necessity because the men they want sexually are not the men who want them for relationships. This is what Rollo Tomasi calls making your necessity a virtue. Number 4, the only good sex is safe, consensual sex. Unprotected sex is dangerous, she says, extremely so. Non-consensual sex can ruin lives. Unsafe sex practices can get you killed. If you're going to be promiscuous, be smart about it. Otherwise, you might want to prepare for the consequences. So she's a hoe that's virtue signaling, right? Guys, listen, man, I rarely meet hoes who require me to use a condom. 9 times out of 10, if I'm about to have sex with a girl, I'm usually the one that stops and puts on the condom. And she's like, oh yeah, right. Don't forget to put on the condom. Knowing full well she was going to let me hit her. She was going to let me raw dog her. Guys, women like their men like they like their sex. Dangerous. Girls don't go for safe men, so we know they're not practicing safe sex. They like dangerous sex. Safe sex is not as fun, and it doesn't feel as good. And again, this chick's on birth control. If a woman is on birth control but not in a relationship, she's definitely not having safe sex. Get out of here with that. Why would you be on birth control if you didn't intend on having unprotected sex? Well, I'm a hoe, but I'm a safe, clean hoe. No such thing, sweetheart. You literally, dude, you're as dirty as they come. You probably got as much DNA swimming around you as a sperm bank. Number 5, we have really unhealthy attitudes towards sex. She says, quote, I've lost friends over my promiscuity, even though I've never slept with anyone they knew. I've had guys go psycho over the number I've had. I've had people who barely know me tell me to get tested upon hearing my number. This isn't healthy, polite, or acceptable in any way. Sex is a natural part of life. We have to stop shaming one another over it. So you've lost friends over your promiscuity, even though you've never slept with anyone they knew. That's BS, guys. That's 100% BS. She's lying. She lost friends because she slept with her friends' boyfriends. Right? Girls don't stop being friends with other girls because they're promiscuous. They stop being friends with other girls because they flirt with their boyfriends, because they flirt with their husbands, or they actually sleep with their boyfriends or husbands. She is flat out lying, guys. Otherwise, she wouldn't have said, I never slept with anyone I knew, because she knows that the only reason promiscuous behavior costs you friendships is because you've slept with said friends, significant others. Then she says, well, people freak out and tell me to get tested upon hearing my number. This isn't healthy, polite, or acceptable. If people are telling her to get tested, she has banged at least 500 dudes, man. I'm here to tell you. Number 1, it is healthy for you to get tested so you don't spread your turbo AIDS, gonorrhea, herpes around. And number 2, asking a person to get tested isn't supposed to be polite. It's supposed to be straightforward. And number 3, it is definitely acceptable. Like, honestly, think about the conversation. How many guys have you slept with? That's 673. Wow. You need to get tested. How rude of you. Yes, gentlemen, sex is a natural part of life when done the way it's supposed to be done, which is not with every single dude you're associated with. She wants to stop being shamed for being promiscuous so she can feel better about being promiscuous. Number 6, a promiscuous person can usually tell if you're experienced. It's funny, she keeps saying person, as if promiscuous men are the same as promiscuous women. It is not the same. Anyway, she says it's true. Sorry, not sorry. I can tell who's had a lot of sex in their lifetime because they tend to have different attitude towards sex. A promiscuous person can tell. So now she's accusing the guy of sleeping with a bunch of women, knowing it's not the same thing as a woman sleeping with a bunch of men, right? It's not the same as knowing she's been ran through, but because he's sleeping on, so because he's a hoe, he knows you're a hoe. No, sweetheart. Dudes can tell you've been passed around because you can make him blow his load in 30 seconds or less using any hole on your body. A person's attitude towards sex has nothing to do with their experience. Listen, she just added this because a couple of dudes told her, damn, I can tell you slept with I can tell you've had a lot of dudes between your legs. Number 7. Oh, this is a good one. Having a lot of sex, doesn't make you any better or worse than anyone else. She says, quote, do some people have high numbers? Do some people who have high numbers have issues they need to solve? Absolutely. But for every promiscuous person with issues, there's another person who just went through a wild phase or has certain kinks they enjoy. You cannot put promiscuity in a box. She keeps saying people. Guys, this is the problem. This is the problem. Women conflating male promiscuity with female. Listen, men who sleep around with a lot of women are not the same thing as women who sleep around with a lot of men. Anyway. So it doesn't make you a better or worse person than anyone else. Who's she trying to convince? Us or herself? Sexually promiscuous women, guys, are women with serious character flaws. Any woman who's been with a lot of men, they got to be liars. They have to deceive. They have to mislead. They have to be devious. They've got to be diabolical. So yes, they are worse people. Nobody trusts a woman who's given her body to 500 dudes. One way or another, she is going to screw you over. Now, as far as issues go, sweetheart, that's your problem. Listen, I'm sorry you have daddy issues, right? I'm sorry you lost your virginity at 13 years old because you're looking for a man to fill that hole, and he filled a lot of holes. Is not the one that you needed, right? But what do you want me to do? Feel sorry for you? You don't feel sorry for guys who you've cheated on, do you? Of course not. Yes, you can put promiscuity in a box. There is only one definition of promiscuity. If you sleep with a lot of men, then you are promiscuous. That's it. She wants to make it, her number is so high, she wants to believe that she is still just like everyone else who has a healthy sexual appetite. Wanting to have sex, wanting to have a lot of sex doesn't make you a hoe, okay? Not having the temperance to refrain from having a lot of sex with a lot of dudes, that's what makes you a hoe. A couple ways you guys can contribute. You can do that through the super chat or the Streamlabs link. Streamlabs.com/DonovanSharpe1, Streamlabs.com/Donovan Sharpe, and the number 1, whichever way is the most convenient for you. I appreciate every penny, guys. I really do. No need to feel some type of way if you've super chatted a question and I haven't answered it. Nothing personal, guys, but I don't shout out super chat verbally, nor do I answer super chatted questions while I'm on the air. I'll answer your question as best I can in the chat. But if you want a more thorough answer, watch my evening show, TSR Primetime, at 6:30 Eastern on Patreon. If you get something out of my content, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Again, I say this every time, guys. My channel does not grow without you guys sharing my videos. So text your friends, blast this out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, get the word out. If you're a little short on cash, remember, likes and shares are free. So you can do your part without having to go into your wallet. Guys, make sure you sign up for my newsletter to stay in the know on all things Donovan Sharpe. And if you have a show idea, see a video, a blog post, or something on social media, hit me at tsr@donovansharpe.com or the contact tab on my website, donovansharpe.com. If you want even more of my content, sign up for my Patreon. This afternoon, I am releasing an archive video way back, episode 35, part 2, entitled, Do Black Men Devalue Themselves When Denying Hard Truths About the Sexual Marketplace? I actually did this video in response to resident TSR hater and fake pro-black, Ralph Hayes, when he said, I'll bet you the girl's parents wouldn't freak out if they brought LeBron home, right? Stay tuned for the answer to that. Also, as a patron, you'll get access to my live evening show, TSR Primetime, which I mentioned earlier, which airs Monday through Thursday evenings at 6:30 exclusively on Patreon. Tonight, I'm going to talk about how to stay out of the friend zone. So you certainly do not want to miss that. TSR Primetime is not YouTube friendly, but the content is every bit as top-notch as the content I make available to the public. All it takes is less than 17 cents a day, guys. So go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe to get access to more of my videos, pictures, audio, podcasts, and much, much more. Okay, let's continue. Let's move to number 8. Oh, this one is so funny. A lot of people envy us later on. She says, quote, I've had talks with people who are in their 60s and 70s, and many of them mention that they regret not sowing their wild oats in their younger years. If you want to do it, do it. Oh my God, this chick is delusional. She 100% knows this isn't true. She's trying to make herself feel better. Listen, all she has to do, guys, is talk to her fellow writer, Amy Horton. That's all she has to do. Now, she also says, again, she keeps saying people, which includes men and women. You see how she consistently tries to hold men and women to the same sexual standard? Now, as far as her conversations were concerned, if they happened at all of the men she talked to are regretful because they're men, and only men can sow their wild oats. But women in their 60s and 70s who have slept around are 100% regretful. And if they say they're not, they're lying. And speaking of lying, guys, she is also lying about having these conversations. She never had conversations with these people. When does a 20-something-year-old party girl have when does she have time to have many conversations with men and women in their 60s and 70s? Get out of here with that. You see, here's the thing, guys. Women always do this to make their point. They always lie. They lie about an anecdote to win whatever argument they're in. Well, you're wrong, because I've had 6 dozen men tell me that they prefer women who have slept with 100 men to be their wives instead of virgins. Yeah, sure you have. Number 9, slut shaming happens, and it comes from people you'd never expect. I've been slut-shamed by doctors, she said, priests, and even my then-boyfriend's parents. Anyone who has the nerve to remark on the number of partners a woman has should have no right to be in her life, and the sooner you make that clear, the better off you will be. She's lying again here, guys. Flat out lies. Doctors don't shame women for sleeping around. They advise them to have safe sex. 100% BS out of her. Priests definitely don't shame women for sleeping around because they tell you that Jesus loves you no matter what. Now do 10 Hail Marys and 20 Our Fathers. Now, maybe the boyfriend's parents thing is true, but they didn't just do it flat out, right? They probably implied it and said something like, hey, listen, are you ready to settle down with Mike? I mean, you've had a lot of boyfriends. But they never just flat out say, you're too promiscuous for our son, you harlot, you tart, you floozy. What Miss Teppenhart is doing here, she is covering for the people who do the most shaming, which is women. Women, by far and away, do the very most slut shaming. But because she's a woman, she can't say, well, why do women shame me for sleeping with a lot of guys? Because she needs to protect the sisterhood uber alles, as Rollo Tomasi likes to call it. So she makes up lies about doctors and priests shaming her. OMG, I got shamed by my professor. No, you didn't. And you know it. Number 10. Slut shaming happens, and it happens to people you'd never expect. This is just too funny. I've been slut shamed when I was a virgin. I've been called a whore for having big boobs. After a while, I decided I had nothing to lose by actually enjoying myself since I was going to be called promiscuous either way. I have no regrets about this decision. Gentlemen, Ossiana Teppenhart again lying through her teeth. Virgins get shamed for sleeping around. Let me say that again. A virgin getting shamed for sleeping around, but they're virgins. Dude, get the hell out of here with that. God, listen, this girl's a liar, guys. And again, I just got done saying that a woman who sleeps around has to be a liar. She's got to be deceitful. She's got to be diabolical. That's how you navigate that lifestyle. I have never, ever, ever heard a virgin getting shamed for sleeping around. That's like someone calling an alcoholic who's never had a drink before. It's like calling someone stupid if they've got a PhD in astrophysics. It's like calling someone obese when they're anorexic. It makes zero sense. Guys, she is making this up to give herself the excuse to be promiscuous. Well, they're going to shame me for sleeping around, so I may as well sleep around. No, sweetie, you wanted to sleep around, so that's what you did. It's that simple. Don't blame it on anyone but yourself. People always say that you're responsible for your actions and your station in life, but this chick is blaming other people for her bad decisions. I'm a hoe because people called me a hoe, so I may as well be a hoe. That's BS. People don't call you promiscuous if you're not promiscuous. You do have regrets about that decision. That's why you're blaming people for the choice you made to sleep around. Number 11. The most promiscuous people aren't the ones you'd expect. I can give 3 good examples, she says. 2 of my exes were quiet geek types who worked regular jobs. They dressed in button-downs and wore khaki pants to work. These women, dude, they need to get a new editor. And wore khaki pants to work. This isn't even a professional. Look at all these ads on this website. I've already cut like 3 typos in these articles. In work, I mean, dude, this is what, a 500 page, this is what, a 500 word article? Dude, go through this one time and you would have seen that. Anyway, both of them slept with hundreds of people each. And even one did adult films as a side gig. Oh, so now one of my ex-boyfriends had a huge dong. Again, she's bragging about that as if that makes her more attractive. Another ex I had slept with over 300 people. During the day, he's a mild-mannered, polite, church-going guy who sells engagement rings. Again, guys, she is trying to conflate men sleeping around with women sleeping around with men. But notice all of her examples were guys. That's actually quite funny because she knows all women sleep around. She knows that girls of all shapes, sizes, nationalities, races, whatever, all sleep around. So when she says that the most people, that there are people that you wouldn't really expect, she is as good as telling you that she knows female sleeping around is the norm. She let that one slip. That's funny. Number 12. The promiscuous people you have to watch out for are the ones who won't admit they've slept around until proof has been shown to them. A good deal breaker, she says, for any relationship is when your boyfriend lies about how many people he slept with. People who do this are prone to cheating because they are already used to lying to you. They also might be hiding the fact that they have STDs. You see this, guys? This is 1000% BS. Number one, when her boyfriends lie about how many people they've slept with, they lie the other way. They increase the number. They don't decrease the number. Number two, she wants us to believe that a man who has slept with a lot of women is a deal breaker, which is, dude, this is so false. It's ridiculous. She's bragging about, well, one guy I slept with had 300 partners. Another guy I slept with did a porn movie. What has happened here is that she is the one that's been dumped because she lied about her notch count. And her boyfriend found out about it, which is the proof she's talking about it, and kicked her slutty ass to the curb. She's the one hiding her STDs. She's the one who is prone to cheating. These are conversations men have had with her about her. This is flat out dishonesty, guys. A woman will never, ever dump you if she finds out you had sex with 200 girls. Ever. It literally increases her arousal to you exponentially. Number 13. Guys who are insecure about their number are more likely to cheat. I found this one out the hard way, she says. A lot of guys will feel like they need to catch up to your number. This is also true to a lesser degree with women. Oh my God, this is such BS. There is literally zero credibility to this. I have never, ever, ever heard of a dude trying to sleep with more women to catch up to another woman's number. That would be impossible. And every man knows that for every woman he slept with, each of those women have slept with 15 men. This girl is full of it. Are you kidding me? Well, I'm a guy, so I'm going to try. No, oh my God. This girl is literally making things up. And she can't spell either. Number 14. The Madonna whore complex is real and it turns guys into douchebags. A lot of guys can't handle the idea of dating an impure girl, she says. And that's fine as long as they're not going to go near me. The same guys will, however, be open to casual sex with what they consider easy. I still don't understand why guys think this way. You see, gentlemen, Miss Teppenhart doesn't understand that the high value men who want to sleep with her will never commit to her because they know she's been with a lot of dudes. She, like most women, are utterly perplexed as to why sexual desire doesn't equal the desire to commit. It's so funny that most girls don't figure this out until it's too late, right? And they always ask it the same way. Why will guys sleep with me but not want to commit to me? Miss Teppenhart is on the verge of some harsh realizations. Number 15, even if you've slept with a bunch of people, being cheated on still hurts. It's inexcusable, she says. It hurts good people, and frankly, it's trashier than all sin. Don't cheat! Well, she's telling the truth here. Getting cheated on hurts a woman's pride, her ego, and it cuts her to the core. But you can already tell that this chick is a serial cheater. She really is. This whole episode, this whole article is one big projection. She's telling us stories about things that men told her. And so she's trying to make us think that these are conversations that she had with men. So there you have it, guys. Another woman who is proud of her promiscuity, who's on the verge of hitting the wall and realizing that she's been doing it all wrong. You can see she's beginning to see the light, but she's way too ego invested in her lifestyle to admit that it's the wrong path. Number one. Number two, there's no going back once you've slept with that many guys. You have to say that you have no regrets because you don't have a choice. She needs to talk to Amy Horton. But like most women, they have to learn these lessons the hard way. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see my patrons tonight at 6:30.